Have you ever been disrespected by someone in your life? That cold stare that makes your existence feel insignificant when you try to share your opinion, but they blatantly cut you off and go on talking about themselves with an arrogant attitude, as if you're an invisible presence, completely excluding you from the conversation. In those moments, from deep within your heart, you feel anger welling up, along with a profound sense of defeat, as if your self-worth is crumbling to pieces. Who was I to them, really? Why did they treat me with such disrespect? I see myself as precious and dignified. So why does that person dismiss me so carelessly? How can I protect my wounded heart and stop being affected by their negative influence? These questions and concerns are part of our lives, almost like destiny. When we face situations like this, we often shrink back or, conversely, become emotionally agitated and make things worse. But what matters here is a wise approach. Today, through the wisdom of legendary political leaders who carved their own path despite countless trials and adversity and moved people's hearts, we'll explore an incredible strategy that goes beyond mere defense when you're disrespected, one that captures hearts and even reverses the situation. What brilliant strategies and advanced psychological tactics did they use to protect themselves and wield even greater influence and leadership? Through their examples, we can learn how to wisely protect ourselves in complex human relationships and earn the respect of others. If you expect today's story to bring positive insights and change to your life, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe. I deeply understand and empathize with your feelings, and I'll continue to provide useful information and content that truly helps your life. First, don't let emotions control you. The other person desperately wants your predictable reaction and emotional response. Throughout life, we experience disrespect in various forms, big and small. It might be a minor misunderstanding that happens unintentionally, or sometimes the other person uses a deliberate disrespect strategy with a clear purpose to exclude and belittle you. It could also simply be rudeness stemming from their personal immaturity or lack of consideration. Whatever the situation or cause, when you feel disrespected, the fact remains that your inner world trembles violently and your emotions become uncontrollably agitated. The crushing anger, deep sadness, frustration, self-doubt, and a sharp decline in self-esteem. These complex negative emotions crash over you like a tsunami, making it extremely difficult to make calm, rational judgments. In this whirlpool of emotions, the danger of making poor decisions or irreversible mistakes always lurks. However, politicians who remain steady despite numerous political battles and pressures possess the exceptional ability to maintain composure. Even in these emotional waves, they first thoroughly evaluate and analyze the situation objectively. They coolly analyze whether the other person's behavior is a simple mistake from pure intentions or a highly calculated, intentional disrespect meant to hurt and weaken you. For example, in a heated political debate, when a clear disrespect strategy is used by deliberately allocating fewer question opportunities to a specific candidate, an ordinary person would easily become emotional and complain or resist. But a seasoned politician immediately recognizes this as the opponent's calculated strategy and prepares a more sophisticated response. Here's the most important insight. When someone intentionally disrespects you, they desperately hope you'll become emotionally agitated, show turmoil, and react irrationally. Your predictable emotional reaction directly empowers their strategy. Therefore, in such situations, the first and most important thing to do is to skillfully control your emotions. Step away from the situation briefly, take deep breaths, or intentionally focus your mind on other positive thoughts to calm the intense emotions. These are practices you need to consistently develop It's also crucial to strongly remind yourself that your essential worth can never be diminished or determined by someone else's temporary judgment or rude behavior. You need to deeply recognize that the behavior of someone who disrespects you is merely their internal problem or strategic choice, and it cannot diminish your unique value in the slightest. This advanced emotional control goes beyond simply maintaining personal peace. It becomes an essential preparation for the next stage of effective, strategic response. Only when you're not swept away by emotions can you calmly consider your next move and exercise the wisdom to steer the situation in your favor. This is like a lighthouse, standing firm in a storm, maintaining your center, and not losing reason in the emotional tempest. This is the first and most powerful weapon in dealing with disrespect strategies. Second, set clear boundaries. With a firm yet dignified attitude, your time and mental energy are irreplaceable precious resources. Once you've successfully managed your emotions, it's time to wisely decide how to respond directly to the other person. If their disrespect isn't a one-time mistake or misunderstanding, but clearly intentional and repeatedly malicious behavior, simply staying silent or passively avoiding it isn't enough. In such situations, it's essential to firmly and gracefully establish your boundaries to protect your dignity. Skilled politicians often express their firm position in elegant, refined language without showing any emotional disturbance. For instance, they use sophisticated communication to clearly state their thoughts and claims without getting dragged into unnecessary arguments or personal attacks that turn into a mudslinging fight. The most important thing here is to be extremely careful not to let it escalate into emotional confrontation or personal criticism. I listen to and respect your opinion, but my thoughts and position on this matter are clearly different. This kind of calm, rational tone is very effective in conveying your stance. Sometimes it's necessary to clearly express your refusal to unreasonable demands, saying things like, "That proposal is hard to accept," or, "I'm sorry, but I cannot do that." This goes beyond simple rejection. It's an act of confidently asserting your rights and limits. But even then, you should thoroughly avoid direct criticism or insults that attack their character. What matters is the content of the message, not emotional nitpicking. If a particular relationship seriously drains your mental and physical energy and causes you pain, that's a strong signal that a fundamental reassessment of that relationship is needed. You need to accept and recognize that you don't need to maintain perfectly good relationships with everyone. Seasoned politicians also clearly recognize that they can't win everyone's support and focus on strengthening relationships with voters who support and encourage them. Don't waste your precious time and energy on people who continuously disrespect you and deplete your vitality. Your time and energy aren't infinite, and investing them in your happiness and personal growth is far wiser and more productive. Don't cling to toxic relationships that drain your energy one-sidedly. Invest in healthy relationships that give you positive inspiration and strength. If you must inevitably face someone who disrespects you due to work or family obligations, maintaining emotional distance intentionally by limiting conversations to minimal business matters and avoiding unnecessary eye contact can be a wise approach. This is an active act of self-protection to safeguard your mental health. Your firm and dignified boundary setting will send a powerful message to the other person that you're not someone to be taken lightly and that you know how to protect your own dignity. Third, continuously strengthen your self-esteem and focus entirely on your growth. When we're disrespected, the part of us that gets hurt the most is our self-esteem. Doubtful questions like, "Am I worthless?" or "Am I being treated this way because I'm inadequate?" can erode our psyche. But this is a serious misconception about your essential value. Your value shines unchangingly, despite any external evaluation or rude behavior, and it is complete in itself. Politicians also work hard to firmly maintain their beliefs and values amid constant public evaluation, criticism, and sometimes intentional disrespect. They have mastered ways to protect their inner selves from external negative stimuli and powerfully strengthen their self-esteem through consistent practice of repeating positive self-affirmations, acknowledging your strengths and achievements, and reinforcing self-acceptance. You can build a solid inner pillar that doesn't easily fall to any external shakiness. For example, looking in the mirror every morning and planting confident messages in yourself like, "I am sufficiently capable and valuable," or "I am strong enough to overcome any difficulty," can be tremendously helpful. Also, instead of wasting energy on people who disrespect you and exhausting your heart, you should focus your precious energy entirely on your growth and development. Immerse yourself in learning new knowledge or skills, feel accomplishment and joy through hobbies you've wanted to pursue, and enhance your physical health and vitality through regular exercise. Actively engage in all activities that care for and develop yourself. This active self-care not only elevates your self-esteem further, but it also becomes the most effective and satisfying way to prove your true worth and potential to those who disrespected you. Your continuously growing and developing self will send a powerful, positive message to those who look down on you. It clearly shows that their disrespect cannot make you frustrated or stop you. Rather, it can become a precious driving force that makes you stronger and wiser. Remember, truly loving and caring for yourself and generously giving yourself the respect and love you deserve is the best shield to firmly protect your value from any external negative gaze or rudeness, and the most powerful method of self-healing. Your shining growth will become powerful evidence that can overcome any criticism and disrespect. Fourth, keenly grasp the other person's psychology and exercise the advanced wisdom of turning it against them. People who disrespect you usually secretly expect your immediate, predictable reaction. They want you to get angry, feel sad, or react with an agitated voice, deluding themselves that they hold the upper hand and are in control. In such situations, reacting in the exact opposite way from what they expect, that is, not showing the emotional disturbance they intend, can actually be the most effective response. This is similar to a skilled strategist in a chess game who reads the opponent's moves and launches a counterattack. Politicians also use advanced techniques to keenly read the opponent's political strategy and psychology, turn it to their advantage, and flip the situation. For example, let's recall the case of a candidate who was intentionally excluded from receiving questions in a debate. If he had become emotionally agitated on the spot and complained, "Why don't I get any questions?" or protested, he would have perfectly fallen into the opponent's trap and made himself look even worse. But a seasoned politician would calmly convey his message in a different way, and through a composed, dignified attitude, actually heighten his presence even more. If you don't give the emotional reaction that someone who disrespects you expects, they become confused when they realize their psychological strategy or provocation doesn't work. They're much less likely to maintain interest in you or keep trying to disrespect you. Rather, your calm, dignified, and unwavering attitude can conversely exert powerful psychological pressure on them. They'll start feeling anxious about your reaction being different from their intentions. Also, it's very helpful to try to deeply understand what psychological motives or background their disrespect stems from. There could be various complex reasons: jealousy, underlying inferiority complex, deep anxiety, or simply a psychology of showing off superiority and trying to dominate others. Once you understand their hidden psychology, you'll no longer be emotionally swayed by their actions, and you'll gain the insight to step back and view the situation much more objectively and strategically, sometimes rather than trying to handle everything alone. In such complex psychological situations, seeking professional help is a very wise approach. Talking honestly about your situation to a trustworthy counselor, an experienced mentor, or a colleague who genuinely cares about you, and asking for professional advice will help you regain psychological stability and provide new perspectives and wisdom to resolve the situation more effectively and constructively. Their professional analysis and objective viewpoint will help you realize the essence of the problem you hadn't noticed before. The experience of being disrespected by others in life is perhaps an unavoidable, inevitable part that occurs in the complexity of human relationships. But what's most important and essential here is that the quality and direction of our lives can change completely depending on how we react to and handle that insulting situation. Through the examples of legendary politicians who firmly maintained their beliefs amid numerous political attacks, public criticism, and sometimes blatant disrespect, and ultimately moved people's hearts and wielded powerful influence, we can gain deep inspiration and learning. Like the wisdom and resilience they demonstrated, we too can sufficiently overcome such situations and achieve even greater growth. First, not becoming a slave to emotions and being controlled by what others want, but maintaining composure with cool rationality. Second, setting clear boundaries with a firm yet dignified attitude to protect your dignity and worth. Third, not being trapped by others' negative views, but continuously strengthening your self-esteem and focusing on personal growth and development. Fourth, keenly grasping the other person's hidden psychology and wisely responding in ways different from their intentions, exercising advanced wisdom to turn the situation to your advantage. All these core strategies will help you not end the painful situation of being disrespected as merely a trial, but rather use it as a precious opportunity and stepping stone to grow into a more solid, wise, and powerful person. You are sufficiently valuable in and of yourself, and no one can carelessly damage your unique worth and dignity. Remember that others' rudeness doesn't determine your value. It's merely a mirror reflecting their level of character. I sincerely hope that what I've shared with you today has brought a small resonance and positive insight to your life. In the next video, I'll return with even more in-depth and beneficial content. Until then, I wish your life to be peaceful and full of wisdom. Thank you.